Hello, my seeking hearts, and peace to you tonight for this evening's spark about conflicting concepts. Now, when I say conflicting concepts, I'm talking about the self concepts that don't align, like disagreements and things like that, which can result in people going down a path that you don't want them to go. For instance, like drinking and drugs and things like that. And so when I'm talking about self concepts, it's just who you have made yourself out to be. Like a self concept of me is that I'm an airman, that I like Star Wars, that like Dragon Ball Z. We all have our things that make us who we are, past experiences, what have you. And some of them seem to lead to some detrimental consequences, like what I was saying. Now, our intentions can be well-meaning in the sense that you don't want to see them going down a life that isn't fruitful, and you want to try to help correct them. It's natural that we want to try to help correct them because we want to, it makes sense that we want to see the best for people. We want to see them have that happy life that we feel they could have if they would just not go in whatever way that may be. But with a lot of this, one thing we have to make sure we keep ourselves in check with is that it is not unto us to try to change our brother, but to accept them for who they are. Now, I understand that one could look at that in the sense that, well, I want to accept their spiritual self, not this lower self that is bound by all these not things that are nonsense. And that is true. So I think by that, when you recognize that, you also should recognize if their spiritual self is who you're accepting, then all that other stuff is the unreality. Because if you're angry at them, then are you accepting your spiritual self? And with all this, coming back a little bit more to planet Earth, as it were, in people's growing phases, sometimes they need to suffer to realize the errors of their ways. But if you stop it short, you might be hindering their growth in the sense that if you don't allow them to really recognize, okay, this is not the way I need to go, then they may very well just keep on going back to that because they really don't see how it's hurting them. They're able to kind of soften the blow, so to speak. And I'm not saying people should have to die necessarily or become alcoholics to see that they shouldn't go down a certain path. But, it's one of those things, and we'll get to how we can help maybe change their way without necessarily trying to change them. And using the analogy or the parable of the prodigal son. When the son wanted to go off and act like, live his riotous way with his inheritance, the father wasn't like, oh no, don't do it, don't go X, Y, and Z. You need to be like this, like your brother. No, he's like, okay. He let him go, because you have to have enough faith that God will help direct them in the right way and will bring the right people into their life and at the right time. And that when they do come back, as we do hope that they come back into the light from their erroneous ways, that you'll be able to be there for them. That if your way is as right as you say it is, if it's truly the higher path, then you'll be able to show them that love. And you'll be able to show them, oh, okay, this really is the better way. Man, I was acting a fool and I came back like with the prodigal son. The father wasn't just waiting at his doorstep with like a disapproval eye, like, and you thought you could get away with it. Man, this dude like saw him from a distance, and you can bet he may have been from a mile when he knew. And he ran out to him. He embraced him. Any little moment, man, before he was dead, but now he lives. And that's really beautiful for us. I think we do get kind of bummed when we see someone going the wrong way, and we burden ourselves over the mistakes of others. And I think one thing that we really got to make sure is that, one, don't burden yourself over the nonsense of what others may do and others may go. It's not unto us to try to change them, but to accept them. And if they want to go that way, okay, let them go. You know, because the thing is, I'll get to in a second, but with all of this in this whole process is that you may have been just one crack of the hammer in helping shape their masterpiece that God has formed them as. You know, you may just be one little bit. And so if they want to go, you know, again, you allow them to be. And because all you really can do is just let your light shine. That's the main thing, is to let your shine before the world, presenting yourself clean before the masses and helping your brother along the way. You know, yeah, I think that's the big one, because if we get so caught up trying to have them be a certain way or be this, that, and the other, again, it's not. We got one thing we have to get past and we have to overcome and take away is the veil of ignorance of good and bad. Oh, this is bad, this is good. I don't know. You know, who am I to say that my way is necessarily better than yours? I very well may have not the better way. Scream was getting kind of low there. You know, and so it's really just, for me, it's kind of like we're all a bunch of travelers walking along a road. We see someone who needs help. We extend our offer. They might be like, go to hell, man, because they're already there in thought. But you bless them along the way. Don't, you know, because here's the thing. Don't make it your business to feel like you got to try and take on the burdens of your brother. That's a burden you never were meant to take. It's not, again, because we're not the police officers of our brother. We're simply meant to help him along the way as we can. And if he wishes to go another way, like with Abraham and Lot, you know, let there be no strife between your herdsmen and my herdsmen. You know, let us, you know, make peace. And that's really nice when you think of it like that. It doesn't make it seem like it's such a hard thing. Because as long as you got faith that, you know, God's going to direct their way. Having that, you know, that's what it may come down to. Do you have faith that the person's going to be directed? It may not be by you, you know, and it may not, even if it is even you, it may not be now. It may be later down the road. But don't let that stop you from loving them. That's what you're called to do. So love them. God will surely not punish you for doing such a thing as that. You're doing all you can. Don't feel helpless. Don't feel hopeless that by your good, it doesn't seem appreciated. Because, you know, having been there myself in situations, Mom, I got love for you, but I know there's been times where I definitely haven't appreciated the good of my parents. You know, at the time, I'm that, you know, snarky kind of petulant child, and, you know, not appreciating the good that my parents have done. And, you know, thinking on it, it's like, man, they were looking out for me. They had my best interests in mind. And it is, I like to think those moments parents are living for. They're like, you goddamn right it is, son of a bitch. I don't think at least my mom, I don't think has that mentality. I don't know about my dad. Anyways, yeah, it's all good, people, you know. Simply love, and the gift you give is going to come back to you. So it might not be by those people, but it's going to come. What comes around comes around. It may, you know, there's a part in their mind though that does appreciate the good that you do, that does recognize the worth of it. And so yeah, man, just love them. Like, that's all we got. Love one another, man. Need we say more? No, we don't. Godspeed, and We wish you well. Peace, friends. See ya.